Strap in, folks. It's time for Marco Holt and Henry McCartney to renew their battle in MiniGP 190. They'll be on the front row. Blake Wilson and Arnie Carr on the second. From Jensen Bishop and Annabelle McCarthy. Then Sid Marshall, Izzy Carter, and hopefully Oliver Pitcher, who missed race 2 earlier on in our previous programme. It looks to me as though we've got 9 bikes this time, though, so Oliver Pitcher will take the start. Ready to go racing. McCartney is going to challenge Marco Holt from the outset. Away we go. And it's a terrific start from McCartney. But can he overhaul? No, he can't. He couldn't quite get the wheel in front of Marco Holt's bike. So he has to hang back in second position for the time being. And it's going to be Blake Wilson that hustles them for third position as they work their way through McRae's and on the run to Iredale's. And it's going to be a perfect run for Holt as he holds on in front of McCartney and Wilson for the time being at least. They go along Lakeside and this race is already pretty fever pitch. Wilson looks hungry.
Again, transponder problem for Marco Holt's bike, but he is definitely the man leading with Henry McCartney in the black and yellow leathers. Can easily pick him out. There he is, through right-handed here. Through St John's, this is the sunny bend, the left-hander brings you down a paddock, and it's these three, and this could be an absolute crackerjack of a race.
Great start as well from Jensen Bishop, already starting to take names out there on the course as our 3 leaders come through. Bishop's got ahead of Arnie Carr, so that's put him into 4th position. Then it's Carr, McCarthy, so Annabelle McCarthy in front of Sid Marshall, then Izzy Carter and Oliver Pitcher. This time around, you know what? Henry McCartney's gone away and done his homework, hasn't he? He seems to already have a little bit more intensity to his riding to try and take on Marco Holt. And Blake Wilson is just there, attached by a little invisible chain. He's just coming along for the ride. And these 3 are absolutely nailed together. This is terrific.
Now together and clearing off from the riders behind. They're being chased by Bishop, but these 3, here they are from the drone. Well clear, as you can see. Bishop there just coming through St John's. Paddock Bend here, the final turn on the track. That's Bishop from Arnie Carr. They're battling, having their own little battle for 4th and 5th, but of course, anything happens, they can pick up the pieces.
Already solidly below 49 seconds for the lap. That shows you the pace of this one. I think the cooler conditions have helped, actually. McCartney going very long on the brakes there to try and draw level with Marco Holt in the hope that he can get a little bit of a faster trajectory. He's going to launch in. Oh, what a bid from McCartney. Wilson's going to have a chance now as well. That was absolutely audacious. And they're 3 wide as Holt comes back in on the inside of McCartney and just squeezes through. That is monstrous motorcycling from these 3.
Fantastic race through St John's one more time. Holt, McCartney and Blake Wilson. What a great race this is boiling up to be here to come through Paddock Bend to finish another lap. There'll be 4 laps down and 10 laps to go as they go through the line.
My goodness me, Henry McCartney's a brave young man. That was a very tough move to pull on Marco Holt. And we're going to see a few more of those, I'm sure. Now, further back, this is Bishop versus Carr. And they're a long way back. They've lost 11 seconds to the leading trio. That's how quick the pace has been in this one. Wilson having a think about McCartney. But they've dropped back a bit from Marco Holt. A little bit of a squabble has definitely cost them some time. So now it's going to be about, can they get back on terms with Marco Holt? That's a bit of daylight between them. So that's obviously going to be a bit tricky to try and recover. But certainly for the moment, Marco Holt in front of Henry McCartney, already slicing his way through the back markers. I think Oliver Pitcher's got a real problem with that bike still. He couldn't make the start of the first race and he just about gets out of the way of the leading trio. So definitely mechanical issues for Oliver Pitcher. This is not the kind of pace we're used to seeing from him. But Jensen Bishop and Arnie Carr are having another brilliant battle. This is for P4, just off the podium. If it gets any more dicey between the top 3, one of those 2 could end up with some silverware.
2 distinct battles on the track now, 2nd and 3rd, and then further back in, 5th and 6th?
4th and 5th even.
4th and 5th even rather, Bishop and Carr.
Annabelle McCarthy is just about holding off Sid Marshall at the moment as well. She's got good pace and has actually been able to pull clear of Sid Marshall by about a second to a second and a half per lap. So that's really admirable improvement from Annabelle McCarthy. Is Bishop versus Arnie Carr, still having a very decent ride of it as they work their way through on the top of the camera. Is Carr slowing? He is indeed. He's going to take the escape road. Arnie Carr's going to be out of this one. That's such a disappointment. Bishop is going to be alone, therefore, in P4. Well, you couldn't have rejoined us at a better time. Marco Holt's had an issue here at Rowrah. Henry McCartney's suddenly surging his way up the inside. He's going to take the lead away from him. This race has suddenly changed hands. Holt with issues. McCartney getting back on him into the lead. And there's a danger now that Blake Wilson could take on Marco Holt. Holt had this race in the bag. Out of the side of the camera, something has happened to him. He's lost ground, he's lost the time, and suddenly McCartney has stolen the lead from him. Can he get it back?
Yes, his bike seems okay now, but he's obviously had some sort of issue. We didn't see it. But as they come through the right-hander at St John's, left-handed through Sunny Bend, he looks like the bike's okay now, Jake, but he's lost track position. And now looking up the inside and getting a bit frantic.
And there's a sense of urgency now. He's got 2 laps to go, but if there's something not quite right with the bike, that will have dented the confidence and the faith in the machinery. He won't be quite as dictatorial in some of his moves. He's going to try again. A little bit of engine braking to try and stay on the tail of McCartney as all 3 riders work their way through the traffic once more. And it's Sid Marshall. They've just put a lap on. So this is going to be tricky as McCartney tries to stretch a little bit further away from Marco Holt. Blake Wilson is just waiting in the wings in 3rd, and for me, he's the danger man. If these 2 get a little bit too close, all Blake Wilson has to do is just hold his breath, keep it calm and patient, and he could snatch something here into Sunny. Holt not quite close enough yet.
Yeah, you can tell from the body, it just looks like the body language of Holt. He's not happy at all. Something's happened. We've not seen what it was, but he's lost the lead. He's trying to get it back now.
Up the inside into the chicane, and oh my word, that couldn't get any closer without contact if you tried again. And McCartney just about hanging on. This is the chance for Blake Wilson. He dives in a 2nd position. He takes on Marco Holt, and he's got that job done. Marco Holt suddenly goes from 1st to 3rd, dives back in again on Wilson. They were absolutely banging elbows as they went through the hairpin.
Don't forget, Jake, if you crash, you don't score any points. So Holt, you can tell he's angry. He's definitely angry at having lost the lead, and now he's down a 3rd. And you can't allow the red mist to affect your race and cost you points.
Look, just consolidate. If he can't get 2nd, don't try. Well, he's going to give it everything he's got, but he won't quite get there. Points will still win prizes at the end of the season if he can hold it together. Oh, and he's lost it! McCartney's going to take the win in front of Wilson, but Marco Holt's dropped it on the final bend. I can't believe it!
And he loses all of his points.
Oh my
goodness. Now he can't pick the bike up, Jake. That's already illegal.
It's gone.
He's trying to start it.
I can't believe it.
The rules state you can't pick the bike up. He's now going to try and push it over the line before the man in 4th place comes through.
Marco, Jensen Bishop is there on the final turn. He's running to the line to try and cross the line first. He's done it, but I'm afraid it's going to be Jensen Bishop, surely, that claims the podium.
Indeed, you cannot pick the bike up off the ground in junior racing. It's a safety rule, and that's what it's there for. Effectively, he was running on a live track. You can't do that.
Celebrating like he's won the championship.
Yeah, good to see a bit of camaraderie amongst them. But I tell you what, there you go. McCartney from Blake Wilson, Jensen Bishop, and look, and Marco Holt's down there in 8th place. You can't pick the bike up, and the bike would have to finish under its own power anyway. The rules state you crash, you're out, and you don't score any points, and that will make a big difference to the championship. Henry McCartney leads on 106, but Marco Holt has cost himself with crashing on the last lap in the last turn 16 points.